Attention troopers, new transmission from Balloon Trooper. Hey guys, welcome back to another transmission. Today we're going over the Dark Side Imperial Hoth Retaliation for territory battles in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Once again, this video is made for officers, leaders, strategists, and tacticians hoping to increase their star count. With all that out of the way, please like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. I will try to react to as many as possible and help clear up any questions you may have. So let's hop into territory battles. So this is Phase 4. I know in the previous video I said I would be breaking up Day 3 for Phase 4 and Phase 5. However, I've kind of changed my strategy and I want to update everyone on what I'm doing. So first off, what am I doing? I am opening up the rear trenches and the ion cannon, as well as keeping the ships open, which was a given. Now, why am I doing that? Well, ships were going to progress either way, regardless. We had the GP. We're most likely going to move to forward airspace after this phase, which will give us time to preload it for Phase 5 and Phase 6. It looks like we have an average of 12 million, so we'll definitely be able to hit another star there, which might give us 14 stars. Now keep in mind we only have 10 stars right now. We're going to have 11 from the ion cannon, because I'm only having my guild push to the 1 star, and we are also going to have another star from rear trenches, like I said earlier, because I'm also pushing them to 1 star. Now why am I doing this? Well, in the last couple of days, we have a massive drop in galactic power, or GP, going into this. So as a solution to all this, I decided to just claim the stars where I can, and we'll be moving on. The strategy may evolve as we have more active players coming in the near future. But for now, that's the general goal. Once again, I want to also mention that I'm keeping kind of the same commands. I want combat missions completed. I want platoons filled to get that extra boost in territory points, and then I want finally them to deploy in order to achieve that star. Now, I do want to mention that this is a slightly more aggressive strategy, as someone needs to ensure that once a star is hit, they close that zone. So I would recommend checking on this maybe every 5-6 hours, or just setting up a command telling them to Discord message you or message you through the game. And then once that star is hit, I would recommend you close it and close all sectors off and just focus engagement on the remaining sector. For example, let's say iron cannon gets filled first because it's only 3.5 mil. I would have it all blocked off with the command section, and then the select command prohibit engagement. But for now, it's going to stay open, and that's the strategy we have so far. So after this phase, we should have a total of 12 stars, which will be incredibly useful considering the goal was between 12 and 15. I definitely feel, considering we have 2 phases after this, that we'll be able to push upwards of maybe 13, 14, 15 stars. So I also want to mention that I will be making a video on Phase 5, most likely post Phase 5. And in this video, we'll actually talk a little bit about the strategies going into Phase 5. So now that we know that the ion cannon and the rear trench will both get 1 star, we have to look toward the future. So we already talked a little bit about the space battles. We know contested airspace has already been started, which means we'll be moving on to forward airspace. And I kind of already discussed how we're going to be preloading that and filling the star over 2 phases, which is Phase 5 and Phase 6. But I didn't really talk about the character battles. So I want to move into the power generator. Once again, it's 5.22 million. So I would recommend, at least for my guild, that we target this next sector in Phase 5 and then go ahead and try to preload this bottom sector Overlook. And hopefully by that time, Overlook and the power generator can get filled in 1 phase. If not, we can also wait to fill 4 trenches, which I may do tomorrow, where we'll have a star count of fill the power generator and then any GP go into 4 trenches for Phase 5. Obviously, we're not going to finish 4 trenches in Phase 5, so when Phase 6 comes around, we're going to try to push to finish 4 trenches, as well as finishing Overlook, which will give us more star counts. So the projected star count as of now is, let's see, we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So hopefully we'll be able to break our record of 13 right now and bump it up. Once again, I do know that we don't have a large player count, an active player count, who's willing to participate, but that will change in the upcoming future. Now, before I sign off, I do want to look at who's participating and who's not by going into the territory battle stats. This will be very useful to determine who in the guild needs to be notified of deploying platoons or just needs to deploy their GP, as well as how far behind you are in terms of the amount of GP you have in the guild versus how much is actually being deployed. Now, I got a message from one of my guildmates the other day that Phase 3 was not good, and apparently it's not. You can go into Phase 3 and see that 31 million GP, almost 32 million GP, was not deployed in this phase. Now, that may not seem like a lot, however, every GP point counts, especially when trying to gain stars. And considering this is a smaller guild with only 39 GP active, that is almost 75% of non-participation. Now let's look at Phase 2. Very similar, very sad. And then Phase 1, we had a little bit more participation during that day. Now, Phase 4, unfortunately, there's a lot of GP not deployed, and that's due to a lot of inactivity within the guild. And hopefully, once again, I did mention we are getting new players, so hopefully that will be fixed. But I'm going to go into leaderboard right now. This is how I'm currently viewing how many people are actually participating in this guild event, as well as saying who is not. So I'm going to post up the list right now. We're going to see how many active players and really not look at who's not participating. We'll deal with that later. I do have another officer trying to help me promote more active participation. But for now, let's look at the overall leaderboard. It appears that we had a few more members participate, which is really good. It seems like 3 more people decided to participate, which drops the count to 19 members within our guild not being active within territory battles. But note that there are, I think, 4 or 5 members in the guild that can't actually participate because they joined after the start of territory battles. So hopefully next round, I'm going to be aiming for about 20 stars, and hopefully with full active participation, we'll be able to get that. So with all that being said, once again, I want to shout out the Old Empire Official Guild. And troopers, always remember to stay alert, and Balloon Trooper ending transmission.